Everyone talks about traveling in your 50s, but no one actually tells you how to do it on a budget when you're dealing with real financial responsibilities like mortgages, kids' college tuition, and retirement planning. I'm here today to give you this complete breakdown of everything you need to know to start budget traveling in your 50s, because I've been exactly where you are, and I know it's absolutely possible. My name is Sarah, and I started my budget travel journey at 52 after my divorce when I thought my traveling days were behind me. I was drowning in debt, had 2 kids in college, and was convinced that budget travel was only for 20-somethings with backpacks. I'm now 57, and I've traveled to over 30 countries on a budget that would shock you, all while maintaining my career and financial responsibilities. This video is all my knowledge about how you can make this your reality too, even if you think it's too late. In this video, I'm going to cover 7 main sections. First is money management, which is how much you should realistically save and how to travel without destroying your financial future. Next is making travel friends in your 50s because the social dynamics are completely different than when you're young. Then I'll cover different types of travel options that actually work for our age group, how to incorporate travel into your existing responsibilities, how to make money while you're traveling, my favorite budget travel hacks, and finally, the essential travel gear for our demographic. Let me start by being completely honest about money because this is where most people in their 50s get stuck. When I was 52 and going through my divorce, I had exactly $3,000 to my name, and I thought there was no way I could afford to travel. But here's what I learned that changed everything. You don't need to save like you're planning a luxury cruise. You need to save smart and travel strategically. My biggest money revelation was realizing that I was spending more money staying home than I would spend traveling to certain destinations. I was spending $1,100 a month on restaurants, entertainment, shopping, and weekend activities. When I went to Portugal for a month, I spent $800 total, including accommodation, food, and activities. I was actually saving money by traveling. The mindset shift that really helped me was looking at every unnecessary purchase and thinking that's 3 days in Prague, that's a week of groceries in Mexico, that's a museum pass in Paris. You have to start cultivating that experiences over accumulation mindset. But it's different in your 50s because you're not just buying random stuff. You're often spending on convenience and comfort that you think you need. Before my first big trip to Southeast Asia, I saved about $8,000 over 18 months, and I ended up spending $6,000 over 2 months. My general rule now is to save about $1,500 for every month you plan to travel if you're going to affordable destinations like Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, or Central America. If you're going to expensive places like Western Europe or Australia, you need about $2,500 per month. The biggest difference between traveling in your 50s versus your 20s is that you have more financial responsibilities, but you also have more financial wisdom. You know how to research, you know how to plan, and you probably have better credit, which opens up opportunities that younger travelers don't have. I never keep a strict daily budget when I'm traveling because that creates stress. Instead, I save a lump sum that I know will cover my basic needs, and then I'm strategic about where I splurge and where I save. I'll stay in a $15 hostel, but I'll spend $50 on a cooking class because that's what matters to me. The most important thing about money is having an emergency fund separate from your travel fund. I always keep at least $3,000 untouched for true emergencies like medical issues or having to fly home unexpectedly. This is non-negotiable when you're traveling in your 50s. Now let's talk about making travel friends in your 50s, because this is completely different than when you're young. The truth is, most people in hostels are in their 20s, and while they're lovely, you might not have much in common beyond the fact that you're both traveling. The key to making friends while traveling in your 50s is to be intentional about it. You can't just hope it happens. You have to put yourself in situations where you'll meet like-minded people. I've had the most success with small group tours, cooking classes, walking tours, and volunteering opportunities. Facebook groups are absolutely essential for travelers in their 50s. I'm part of several groups specifically for solo female travelers over 50, budget travelers over 45, and destination-specific groups where I can connect with people before I even arrive. I'll post saying I'm going to be in Barcelona in March and asking if anyone wants to meet up for dinner or explore together. I've made some of my closest travel friends this way. One thing I learned is that many people our age are traveling for the first time or getting back into travel after raising kids, so everyone is a little nervous and excited to connect. I met Margaret in a cooking class in Tuscany, and we ended up traveling together through 3 more countries. If you're really nervous about making friends while traveling, I highly recommend starting with small group tours. Companies like Intrepid Travel and G Adventures offer small group experiences with usually 8 to 16 people. You're not committed to spending your entire trip with these people, but it gives you an instant social group for a few days. The most important thing about making travel friends in your 50s is to be open and approachable. Smile at people, ask questions, offer to take photos for other travelers, and don't be afraid to suggest meeting up later. Most people are just as eager to connect as you are. Now, let's talk about the different types of travel options you have in your 50s because backpacking through hostels might not be your preferred style, and that's completely okay. You need to look at what type of travel is most realistic for your comfort level, budget, and physical capabilities. The first option is what I call comfortable budget travel. This is where you stay in private rooms in guest houses, budget hotels, or Airbnbs instead of hostel dorms. You're still traveling on a budget, but you have privacy and comfort. I usually spend between $30 to $60 per night depending on the destination. House sitting is an incredible option for travelers in our age group that most people don't know about. Websites like Trusted House Sitters connect you with homeowners who need someone to watch their house and pets while they're away. You get free accommodation in exchange for taking care of their home and pets. I've house sat in Ireland, Spain, and Mexico, and it's been amazing. Home exchanges are another fantastic option where you swap homes with someone in another country. I swapped my condo in Denver for a flat in London for 2 weeks, and it cost me nothing except the membership fee. You get to live like a local and save hundreds of dollars on accommodation. Slow travel is perfect for people in our age group because we often have more time flexibility than younger travelers. Instead of trying to see 10 countries in 2 weeks, spend a month or two in one or two countries. You can often get monthly discounts on Airbnb, and you save money on transportation between cities. Educational travel is something I'm passionate about, and it's perfect for our demographic. This could be language immersion programs, cooking schools, art workshops, or cultural programs. I spent 3 weeks in Guatemala learning Spanish and staying with a host family for $800 total, including meals and classes. If you have a particular skill or expertise, you can look into work exchanges that are appropriate for your experience level. I'm a retired teacher, so I've done English tutoring exchanges, and I know people who have done consulting work and photography work in exchange for accommodation. The key is to choose the type of travel that matches your comfort level and interests. Don't feel like you have to backpack through hostels to be a budget traveler. There are so many ways to travel affordably while still being comfortable. Now let's talk about how to fit travel into your existing life because in your 50s, you likely have more responsibilities than a 20-year-old, but you also have more resources and flexibility in some areas. If you're still working full-time, the key is to maximize your vacation time and look for opportunities to extend trips. Many people in their 50s have accumulated significant vacation time. Instead of taking several short trips, consider taking 1 or 2 longer trips per year. Look into sabbatical opportunities at your workplace. Many companies offer sabbatical programs for long-term employees. Even if your company doesn't have a formal program, you might be able to negotiate unpaid leave. I negotiated a 2-month unpaid leave by agreeing to train my replacement and handle some work remotely. If you're approaching retirement, travel can actually be a way to test out retirement living. You can travel to places you're considering for retirement and live there for a month or two to see if you like it. Many people find they can live more affordably abroad than they can in their home country. Remote work opportunities are not just for young people. If your job can be done remotely, negotiate with your employer to work from different locations. I know people who spend winters in Mexico or Southeast Asia while working their regular jobs. If you're divorced or widowed, travel can be an incredible way to rediscover yourself and build confidence. I was terrified to travel alone after my divorce, but it ended up being the most empowering thing I've ever done. The key is to be creative and flexible. Travel doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can take shorter trips more frequently, longer trips less frequently, or find ways to combine travel with other life goals. Now let's talk about making money while you're traveling, because this is often a concern for people in our age group who might be worried about depleting their savings or retirement funds. The first option is remote work if your current job allows it. Many companies are much more open to remote work arrangements than they were even 5 years ago. If you can do your job from anywhere with a good internet connection, you can travel while maintaining your income. Freelancing or consulting in your area of expertise is another great option. If you have decades of experience in your field, you can often freelance or consult remotely while traveling. I know a retired HR director who does HR consulting for small companies while traveling. Teaching English online has become incredibly popular, and it's not just for young people. Companies like Cambly and Italki hire native English speakers to teach conversational English online. You don't need teaching credentials for many of these platforms. I make about $15 to $20 per hour teaching English conversation. If you have a particular skill or hobby, you can monetize it while traveling. I know a woman who teaches knitting workshops at yarn shops around the world and a retired chef who teaches cooking classes. Think about what you're good at and how you could share that skill with others. House sitting, which I mentioned earlier, is essentially getting paid in free accommodation to travel. If you're good with pets and responsible with homes, you can travel for months without paying for accommodation. The key is to think creatively about your skills and experience. You have decades of knowledge and expertise that younger travelers don't have. Figure out how to leverage that while you travel. Now, let me share my favorite budget travel hacks that I've learned specifically for traveling in your 50s, because some of the advice for young travelers doesn't apply to us, and some strategies work even better when you're older. First, embrace shoulder season travel. This is the time just before or after peak season when the weather is still good, but prices are much lower and crowds are smaller. I love traveling to Europe in late April and early May or September and October. Prices are 30 to 50% lower than summer prices. Use your age to your advantage. Many countries offer senior discounts starting at age 50 or 55. In Europe, many museums and attractions offer senior discounts. Always ask about age-based discounts even if they're not advertised. Travel credit cards are even more valuable when you're older because you likely have better credit. I use the Chase Sapphire Reserve for all my travel expenses and earn points that I use for flights and hotels. If you're not comfortable with credit cards, at least get one with no foreign transaction fees. Book accommodations with kitchens whenever possible. This is more important in your 50s because eating out every meal gets expensive and can be hard on your digestive system. I shop at local markets and cook some of my own meals, which saves money and gives me a more authentic cultural experience. Travel insurance is non-negotiable when you're in your 50s. I use World Nomads for shorter trips. The peace of mind is worth every penny, and the older you get, the more important it becomes. Pack less, but pack better quality items. When I was younger, I would pack everything I might possibly need. Now I pack half as much, but everything I pack is versatile and good quality. Your back will thank you. Use apps and technology to your advantage. Google Translate is incredible for navigating language barriers. Citymapper helps with public transportation. These tools make independent travel so much easier than it was even 10 years ago. Stay longer in fewer places. This saves money on transportation and allows you to get weekly or monthly discounts on accommodation. It also reduces the stress of constantly packing and unpacking. Finally, let me talk about travel gear that actually matters when you're not 20 anymore, because comfort and practicality become much more important than looking cool or packing ultra light. Invest in really good luggage with 4 wheels that can roll upright. Your back and shoulders will thank you. I use a Travel Pro suitcase that's lasted me 5 years. It's worth spending more on luggage that will last and be comfortable to use. Get the best travel pillow you can afford. Sleep becomes more important as you age, and a good travel pillow can make the difference between arriving refreshed or exhausted. Comfortable walking shoes are absolutely essential. I bring 2 pairs of comfortable walking shoes on every trip because your feet take a beating when you're walking all day on cobblestones and uneven surfaces. A good day pack is crucial for day trips. I use a small backpack with padded straps and multiple compartments. It needs to be comfortable enough to wear all day, but not so large that it makes you a target for pickpockets. Bring a basic first aid kit with any medications you take regularly, plus common items like Band-Aids, pain relievers, and stomach medication. It's much easier to treat minor issues yourself than to find a pharmacy in a foreign country. A portable phone charger is essential because you'll be using your phone constantly for navigation, translation, and communication. I also bring a universal adapter and extra charging cables. The most important thing about travel gear in your 50s is to prioritize comfort and practicality over style or weight savings. You're not trying to impress anyone, and you don't need to prove how tough you are by suffering with uncomfortable gear. You're never going to feel completely ready to start this adventure. There will always be another reason to wait, another responsibility to handle, another financial goal to meet, but if you wait for the perfect time, you'll never go. I was terrified before my first solo trip at 52. I worried about everything that could go wrong, but the longer I was gone, the more confident I became, and travel became the lifestyle I have now. In society, we're often told that adventure is for young people, and that we should settle down and be practical as we age. But I've met incredible travelers in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who are living proof that it's never too late to explore the world. Age brings wisdom, patience, and perspective that actually make you a better traveler. If you're feeling called to start traveling in your 50s, please start planning and saving because it is absolutely possible no matter what anyone tells you. Start small if you need to, but start somewhere. Take that weekend trip to a nearby city, book that cooking class in Italy, or plan that house-sitting adventure you've been dreaming about. The world is full of incredible experiences waiting for you, and your age is an asset, not a limitation. You have the wisdom to travel smart, the resources to travel comfortably, and the life experience to truly appreciate what you're seeing. If you want more content about traveling in your 50s, please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram where I share daily updates from my travels and connect with an amazing community of travelers over 50. If you have questions about traveling in your 50s or want me to cover specific destinations, please leave them in the comments below. I read every comment and I love hearing from fellow travelers who are proving that adventure doesn't have an expiration date. I'll see you in the next video and hopefully somewhere amazing around the world.